Welcome, Mickey.
Hi. I'm still messing around with my computer stuff.
Well,
Oh, this
I, I
this is a cute day. Okay.
I have to say it is Mercury retrograde, retrograde, retrograde.
Retrograde. You got
We,
that
we,
right.
we have had issues, and I've had issues for the past 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks, as a matter of fact.
Well,
It,
it's a 3 week event, I mean,
yeah,
it didn't
yeah.
mess with us for 3 weeks. So
Well, it is just knocking me for a loop, but we are on. I'm
so to
jumping over
speak.
to Facebook and I do see us over there, so that's pretty good. Awesome.
Yeah.
So anybody that's on Facebook and watching, it doesn't let us know who's on unless you post a comment. So please feel free to comment, ask questions. We're just so happy to have you here.
It was a day like all other days, except were we there?
I
Yeah,
know. Yeah, it's been weird.
oh,
I've been away. I had a bit part in a play, my very first time as an actress.
ah.
So I just got home Sunday night and it's been a whirlwind of, taking care of the house and doing things I got to do, and then I go to get on here and it's like, oh, we have to update this and change that. And of course, my computer did an update to the operating system. And so it's just been a lot of technical and communication glitches.
Yes, mine too. Right up to the very last second. I had written my stuff in my notes and had everything all ready, had it up to the right size so I could see it easily. And then I went through all kinds of PCBS. Woo! This particular, you asked me earlier, yesterday or today or whenever, about the blue moon.
I,
And
I
I keep
did.
hearing about it. And yes, I've heard about it for years. And most of us don't pay it much mind.
Okay.
Um, but it's simply making note of how many times something happens. It's already an astrological event to have, full moon, new moon, whatever. But when it happens more than once in a month, then that's a big deal. And then you've got these strange months where sometimes once in a while it even happens 3 times. So that's
I
considered the
did.
big super blue moon,
I,
but it's making a mountain out of a molehill. Okay.
mm,
Now it tickled me because what it did was remind me of something that I have been trying to ease out there for the last 2 or 3 times that we've done this. And that is, although we meet at the new moon and the full moon, I keep trying to make sure that people don't think this is an astrological page. It's about Seth and it's about how to use creating your reality. Um, it's very popular to use the moon phases as an example of how we can be thinking. You've got the quarters of the moon and the phases and so forth. So it brings me to what I was going to speak about later on of systems. This whole thing today is about systems, which is hilarious considering that my PC system tried to assassinate me. But anyway,
but there's so many systems. Now, I will say that I look at what we do on the new moon and the full moon as markers. So
yeah,
everybody knows when they're going to happen, and so it makes it a nice twice a month
yeah,
visiting together,
yeah.
and being able to speak and have a conversation about what's going on in the world, what's going on, how we feel about things, but about how to, yes, create our own reality and how important we are on this earth.
Well, back before Jane and Seth and all of that, and Rob and so forth, before that, people who wanted to accentuate a certain recurring vibration used the phases of the moon because the moon is what guides all our emotions and how we feel about things. It happens to be tied to the sign of Cancer, which is all about your family and your feelings, chances you take, because even gambling comes under that same head. People are like, but why would children be in the house of taking chances and gambling? Do you have children? Yeah, that's the exact house for that.
It is. I agree.
you know. But people needed ways to delineate a particular thing that they wanted to call attention to. And so, using the symbology of what was prevalent right then and things they could notice with the meager instrumentation and whatnot that was popular. Plenty of instrumentation out there to be used, but it was used by the wealthy philosophers and scientists and so forth. It's not like everybody had a PC in their home spitting out charts at 3 seconds of a throw.
Right.
So we've come a long way. And we're still using that particular thing to draw attention to a certain cycle,
Hmm.
a system, you know. Astrology is a system, but it's also, I'm so used to, I don't even refer to it as a system most of the time. I call it a language, because that's the first thing you do is you learn an entirely new language. You really
Hmm.
do. You have to learn how many houses there are, what are they, and what does it mean for each one. Then you learn the planets, since each planet rules one of those houses or two of them. And well, what does that mean? What do they mean as a planet? And what does the house mean? And then what does it mean for the planet to be in a certain house? This is a language. Once you learn it all, you can talk and talk and talk about it without using any other frame of reference, you know? So we happen to be there was a time in history when that became popular, and this particular method was popular. That particular, Blavatsky and all the different Casey and all the different channels and so forth. Everybody and his mother's channeling now. Anybody knows they can channel. It's not a big deal. You don't pay £400 to go across the country to hear somebody channel for 13 minutes.
Hmm.
It's not like that anymore. You just do your 333 222 111, and you can talk to anybody you like.
I love that, Mickey.
But we need to take a moment and take stock. We have some things we need to know about why we're doing what we're doing. We gotta focus on what is it you're doing in the first place and why you're doing it. Is it because you know something, or do you know anything? Or you're just going along grabbing systems that come up and say, "Oh, I want to see a bit of that. Oh, that looks interesting. Oh." So it's all about systems today. And it will be interesting to see how this particular session plays out. Over. Oh, go
Yes.
ahead.
No, somebody's here, but I see who it is, and they're leaving now. It's just the dog is barking, and
Oh,
again, it's Mercury retrograde, right?
yes. If you need to run to the door, run to the door. I can keep going on and on.
No, he put it in the at the back of the house. So no, we're good. We're good. But again, this is how, we're learning to roll with the flow and not fight what the heck is going on around us because it's all right. Everything is right. Whatever is happening is exactly what's supposed to be happening and when.
But that's the hardest thing of all.
It is because I personally, I like to control things. I like to, like I set this
The
up
one
really
stuff that I
nice
told
and
you about
I
control. Hey.
I have the dog in the other room and I actually took the doorbell off so nobody can ring that. So like I set things up so that, I'm in control and I can do this. And you know what? I'm not in control of anything except except how I react to what happens.
Most of us get to our last day on earth before we discover that particular wisdom about we're not in control. you know,
Right, right. Yeah.
we don't find out until the last second. So
Mhm.
I just did a meditation where I said I was grateful for having the knowledge that Seth brought about how to understand some of the other complexities of the
Mhm.
universe. Because the real deal is 1,000 million times more convoluted than what we thought. It's not simply do right, you go up, do bad, you go down, and Big Daddy's going to tell you which one you are.
There is no down, and there's no Big Daddy.
you know,
And I think our audience gets that. I do. And if they don't, they will if they keep
they
listening.
will eventually if they stick around here much longer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about, for me, it's all about trying to digest what I've taken in. You know, it tasted good, it was beautiful, it tastes good, I ate it, and now I'm trying to handle what is nourishing me, you know, because reading the books and even trying the exercises, talking to your friends about it, all of this stuff that we do to understand stuff. And then as soon as you do, then what? okay. You and I know that there are very major levels of understanding couched within the wisdom of what Seth brought us. There are levels, and you can get right to where I've read almost every book, and you had no idea when the ball drops and it hits you right on the head, and you go, "Oh, Eureka! You could have been studying as I have for 50 years." You know, actually 50 years. And all of a sudden, within the last 24 months, I've had the biggest aha moment, as Oprah would say. I had an aha that knocked me off my socks.
Mhm.
You and I both, really.
We did. And we can thank Marco Governelli for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He
Yeah.
had a birthday yesterday.
He did. Happy birthday, Marco.
But that was the beginning of the new level of understanding that has just gone crazy after that. But
Right.
thank
Nothing is the same.
no,
No,
nothing is the same.
no.
And I thought when I first started saying that, I thought I was really saying it. And now I'm 2 years later and I'm saying, oh God, nothing is the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, I didn't know how much something there was. So to say that none of it was the same, I didn't realize how much stuff I was talking about.
And it still crops up more and more every
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
it
that's
really is never ending, and it is, we really are in an infinite universe.
no,
And
but
and that's an
understand,
easy word to say, but to realize infinite, it
right.
and I don't know, the more I progress, the older I get, the more I dig in, the more infinite it becomes.
It really blows your mind because during each day, at some point during the day, sometimes more than two or three times, a revelation about the nature of how infinite really is, something pops up that shows me an aspect of it that I hadn't considered and how it affects us where we are was something I had not considered because I didn't know about that. So I couldn't even apply it to what I'm familiar with. And now that I suddenly realize this new point, the implications are washing over you and just blowing your mind. So
Mhm.
you're trying to hold on to the view of your reality that you had, but you're trying to change the bits you need to change, but not so much that you are disoriented. You got to take your time. If you're going to paint all the walls, you don't paint each one a different color the same day. you know? So this is an interesting time in history. Now that's a phrase you hear every psychic, every channel, everybody spiritual is spouting about. Oh, we're in a really complicated time, and boy, we've come for for the ascension and this and that. Everybody has a term they use for how important this particular point is. And we use the word time when we're talking, when yet another part of what we've learned is that it's all happening in the now. It's all happening at once. So that further complicates trying to take it all in, you know.
Hmm.
It's a journey.
It is a journey.
Journey.
And we're navigating it just fine. You know, we're doing what we need to do, learning, you know, as things are happening. Sunday morning, I was at a friend's house and I saw an apparition. And usually I if I'm going to see something, it's usually in my periphery. I usually don't see things straight on, and I was looking right at it, front on, and it looked very normal to me that it was a being, and it was the figure of a man with a hat on, and but he had very very long arms and very skinny. So I actually had the owner of the house stand in the same position, and this being looked way taller than this man, yet he couldn't have been, and his arms looked like super long, but mm, it couldn't have been. So it was, you know, I know what I saw, yet in this physical reality, when I placed a person in the same place, it was all wrong, right? And that is, I mean, to me, that is just the infinite, what we don't get at all because we're so used to the laws of this universe and this dimension. What I saw was completely different than this dimension. And it kind of blew me away. And I thought about it. I meditated on it yesterday morning, and it was a being, and I got some answers, and I passed along to the owner of the house because the message was for her. And I don't look at myself as a medium, yet that's exactly what I did. And it was, you know, it surprised me, and it surprised me as to the breadth and the width of this infinite universe that is beyond what we can normally see, feel, hear, touch. When we do our quantum jumpings, we can do that, we can access those, but this felt entirely different than that, even, which I've never experienced that before.
Mm-hmm.
So like when Mickey, you were saying, you know, each day it shows you how much bigger what it all is. I'm like, wow, this was beings that are totally different than I ever could have thought of. Um, very um, easy energy, very loving. You know, there was no scariness, no threat, no nothing like that. It was just the physicalness was so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I've heard some people who were channeling. The person they channeled was explaining. Um, Someone had asked him, "Well, why don't you come and let us see you? And why can't you just come and visit us?" And he said, "Listen," he said, "I want you to understand something." He said, "I came once to visit the person who's channeling me. And as I approached, they saw me coming toward them. But as I got closer and closer, they lost their identity. They were so confused and so overwhelmed that they went into a form of being just totally confused and
Hmm.
disoriented." And he said, "The reason is the vibration I'm on in my dimension is so much souped up in strength compared to the density of what you're in, that when you get closer and closer to this that I am, the two vibrations did not match well enough to translate. It just simply overwhelmed him. It was just too much." So he said, "This is why we've waited literally hundreds and hundreds of years for you to change your vibration. You're bringing it up higher and higher and higher.
Hmm.
And then eventually, if you come up a little more and we come down a little more, we'll be able to communicate."
Hmm.
So I found that very interesting because several other channels that I trust a lot have all agreed that certainly by the very beginning of 25, if not the very last couple of days of 24, but certainly in 25, there will definitely be some very public contact. So that's going to be interesting. We are in an interesting time. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait.
We are. And there's nothing to be afraid of. Like that's a big thing. Like I remember back in the day when I was afraid of everything, you know. Um, Now it's like, even when I saw this being, like I looked at him, it looked like a male figure. And it was almost with a wondering gaze, not nothing fearful, nothing startling.
Uh,
Um, and I looked at it almost like, is this real? Am I really seeing this? Like, and and then he was gone. And then when I was channeling and asking questions of my higher self, and I'm like, what was that? How can you explain it? And it was a guide of one of the people that lived in the house. And they actually gave me a name and the fact that this guide travels with this person, and I'm like, how cool is that?
very cool indeed.
I think so. I am so excited about it, and she was so excited. She's like, "Do you think that I could talk to this being?" I'm like, "I have no idea," but I said it certainly can't hurt to try.
Oh,
So she's been meditating. I haven't heard anything, yet from her, but it's opened up an entirely new set of possibilities for another person. And actually, there was more people there than just one. So they're like, "Wow, how cool is that?"
yeah, the world of interdimensional communication is really just beginning to completely take off. And
Yes.
boy, is that going to open a Pandora's box of thousands of people communicating with thousands of others in other dimensions. We're headed into some very interesting waters. We really
Yes, yes, we absolutely are.
are. Amazing times.
Yeah. And I
Cool.
would love to hear experiences that other people are having too. Yeah.
Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, we love to hear it. And I mean, whether you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook or the Speaking with Kate website, feel free to post messages, contact us. We're here. I love to hear what other people are going through and what they're experiencing. Yeah, it's
It's full moon. Yeah, this is a
yeah,
weird. So
and the fact that it's a super moon, it's the idea of that is it's closer to the earth. So to me, it feels like everything is stronger. So
mhm.
as we look at this full moon, we're to be receiving and accepting and having gratitude for all the things that have come to our life that we've been, trying to manifest. And we have been. Um, Depending on what your personal manifesting is going to be, what have you experienced? What has come true? What are you still working on? Not everything happens in 2 weeks.
Right.
Some things take longer, some things take 2 minutes.
Well, that's an interesting part about having more than one full moon within the same month because those issues that you usually spread over a month are going to be truncated and happening, like a replay. You're getting some more of it within the 30-day period that it usually has to work. Instead, it's all happening faster and
Mhm.
more intensely. Now, this particular time, some of the planets involved are not exactly buddies. And yet they're forced to all come together for a meeting, and that means that the atmosphere in the meeting is kind of touchy. So this time, I was kind of led to say, although we usually make our intentions into a plan and stuff on the new moon,
Mhm.
this time, this particular full moon is still trying to It's a great time to get it together for next new moon.
Okay.
Okay. You may find that a lot of the things you thought you'd be having this time from your intentions hasn't come out yet,
Mm-hmm.
but there are going to be some very pretty shocking little surprises. You have to prepare yourself right now because the planets involved are very erratic and shocking. They like to shock things. The lessons that come are going to come fast and unexpected. So there will be some very sudden, unexpected changes. And I can vouch for that because I've had a couple that just popped up out of nowhere. I was busy saying, oh, well, I'm glad that mine has been real quiet and blah, blah, blah. And that within the hour, stuff started happening that I was like, what? What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And there will definitely be some financial tinges, colorations too, some of the surprises that come up. So get ready and get your wallet and bring it with you.
Nice.
But
Very
this is, I mean, this one is going to stir things up. It's going to have shocks and surprises, but it will have emotional things that just stir up things that you thought you were cool about, and you discover you have more feelings about it than you thought you did.
mm-hmm.
Uh, your question, there'll be a lot of things that have to do with your identity and how you define yourself. The fact that you want the freedom to do this and the freedom to do that, those freedoms will come under examination. You may have to readjust the areas you're used to being free in, may have to take a back seat for a moment. You may have to, bite your lip and not say so much.
Mm-hmm.
This one is going to make you want to reach out and slap somebody, to be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Something unexpected pops up and you're like, what? Sorry. Uh, you know? So,
So again, the do nothing, the so what, the take a breath, right? All of those things are important for this. I don't know,
yeah.
probably
'Cause-
this entire 30-day stretch or 28-day stretch at
Yeah.
least. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This one is so much push and pull. You're
Hmm.
being pushed and pulled one night and then no, no, wait, go this way. No, wait, you got
Hmm.
it's intense and it's confusing and it's going to cause a little bit of angst and anger.
Yeah. Yeah. Even looking at something as simple as the weather. The weather is doing the same thing to us. I mean, here it is, August 20th, and I'm wearing a turtleneck sweater, and
Yeah.
my feet are cold. I'm wearing wool socks. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy for this is supposed to be the hot dog days of August, and it's challenging. It's challenging us. And what's going to be the next 2 weeks coming up, right? Kids are already starting to go back to school. There is a feeling of fall in the air, but I don't think summer's done yet.
No, someone's coming back with a vengeance in
I
about
think so. Yes, I do.
a
Yeah.
month.
But again, it's be prepared. Yet, so what? We'll be okay. We'll get
We're
through.
okay.
Yeah.
This is very interesting time, so it
It,
really is.
yeah.
I've learned a lot. I've eaten a lot of humble pie, learned a lot, but I've been glad of it. The things I learned that I had done wrong in my early life, as I re examined some of the decisions I made, I was given a chance to look at them with new eyes. And I realized, how young and naive and silly I was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that. I was being the age I was, and that's okay. But now I look back at it and I have readjusted a lot of what I thought of as my personal manifesto. It's nothing like who I am now.
Exactly. And we aren't anything like that person. We aren't. And I often say, I didn't do everything perfect, but I did the best I could with the information that I knew at that time.
Exactly.
It's so easy to go back and hindsight, look at what we did and say, oh, I was so bad. I did this wrong and I did that wrong. But you know what? At the time, I did the best that I could.
Yeah.
And I think the vast majority of people can say the same thing, you know. And now that we know more and we've been around the block a few times, you know, we make different choices than we ever would have made in our 20s, 30s, 40s.
But
Yeah.
well, the thing is that it's all well and good that we'll do it, but so many, that we can see the differences. But believe it or not, for so many people, the vast majority will look at the stuff that went on that didn't go right and then they refuse to own it.
Oh, yeah.
It's because so and so did this, and that's the only reason I did that. And well, I had no choice because such and such happened and did such and such. I keep getting reminded lately to remember it doesn't matter what happens, none of it has any meaning at all except what you give it. And it's all about the way you choose to react. Well, I didn't have a choice. Yes, you did. It was hard to be aware of it because maybe you were so emotionally involved in whatever was going down. But the deal is, we have choices.
Yep.
And it's all about why you picked the ones you picked
Mhm.
and then learning from it. Doesn't mean you have to be right every time you pick, but you do have to be able to own up to what was right and what was wrong about what you picked. And then you can make a better choice next time.
Right, right, right. It's all about learning. It's all
All it
about
is.
it
That's all.
experiencing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you know, when we like, especially at this time of the month cycle, healing can take place.
Yeah.
But again, it's a thought of don't concentrate on what's wrong, but be grateful for what is right, even if it's not quite there yet. Feel like it's there, and that's part of the journey that we're going to take today. I think there's going to be some recognizing that manifestation has already happened, and really that's one of the biggest ways that it happens quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can give you an example of myself and how I have not not been listening to my own words. Is I so 2 weeks ago I got this awful pain in the back of my leg. I had no idea what it was, and I went to the doctor and they're telling me I have a Baker's cyst. And
Mm.
oh, well, it may never go away and it may always be there, but it won't hurt always, and blah, blah, blah. And oh, get yourself a sleeve and wear a brace. And so I started doing all those things, and it started getting worse. I was focused on it every time I felt the brace or the sleeve or whatever I was wearing at the time. And so like every day I was thinking about it. For the last 2 days, I refused to wear it, and you know what? It doesn't hurt at all today.
Oh, that's
So
great.
I had to stop thinking about what was wrong and focus on what is right.
Hmm.
And it manifested for me. So, I mean, that's a very small example of how I wasn't listening to my own words, and I was dwelling on something that I wanted to go away. Well, it's never going to go away if you keep focusing on it, right? So you focus on what you want and how you want your health to be, how you want, you focus on your good friends. Don't focus on that one person in the neighborhood that annoys you completely, because
Right.
that person is just going to annoy you more and more and more if that's where your focus is.
You're energizing them with your thoughts. Every
Absolutely.
time you're thinking about them, you're shooting them up with more of your energy.
Yes.
You don't
Yes.
do that.
Right. And you have unlimited energy.
Huh?
So, just think of the monster you can make. Right. So this journey is going to be all about recognizing what is good and right in your life, and whether it is physically there yet, it is there because every time is now,
Hmm. Hmm.
which I love that. Yeah,
I
I
like
do.
that. It's takes some getting used to. There are aspects of it that you really have to readjust in your speech and your thinking, but it's starting to make more and more sense. I'm comfortable with it.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm learning new stuff about it every day,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. Right, right. Seth always, I mean, he used to have that clock and it said
Yeah,
now, 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 all the way around it.
all the way around.
The time is now. And right, we don't, because we don't have what isn't here yet. We don't have what's in the past. We just have the now. So make the now the best that you can be. Now, in our journey, I want to do some healing. I want to give you guys plenty of time to do your own thing. But I want, I was, told today that gratitude is very important at this time.
Mhm.
Being grateful for the things that we have and the health that we have, the friends and the family that we have. Grateful that we have electricity and clean water. You
Yeah,
know,
no matter how small something is, it's still, if it's something good, it's worth being grateful for.
Absolutely. Right, right. Gratitude, like to do, five things in the morning you're grateful for and maybe five things at night. Oh my God, I could go through gratitude forever because there's so much good in my life. And is there really any bad in my life? Not really.
Mhm.
Not anymore.
That's fantastic. I
Yeah.
was led to ask you about um, when we go into our laboratories again, wanting to create what was called a protective space.
Oh,
It's a it's a large bubble that is your protective space, and you can go into it anytime you like. If you need to think about something, if you want to hide from something, if you want to feel safe, if you want to feel free, but having your own protective space within your lab.
now, interesting because I actually do that every day, especially when I'm traveling. Like I'll put and I call it the golden cocoon. So I'll put the golden cocoon around my car, and in my thought process, I feel like this is my protection to the car. So
Right.
and everything around it. So it's not just protecting you
Mhm.
in your car or your house or whatever, but everything that comes close to it is being protected as well. Um,
That's good.
so yeah, okay, we can do that in the
That
lab.
sounds great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because the way I found out about it, I was being told to make this protective bubble and to go in there and to invest in myself. You know, that when I came out, I would energize this protective bubble, and then when I come out, I'm to take whatever denomination is convenient that month or week or whatever, but to take out a 20 or a 10 or a 5 and buy something frivolous, nothing useful, a milkshake, a candy bar, a fifth of your favorite whatever, brandy, whatever, but you invest in yourself.
Hmm.
Get whatever this is that's outside the budget, outside of the must pay and all of that. This is just an investment in yourself, in your own happiness. It's just something you wanted and you got it. So you're used to the idea of manifesting something that brings you joy.
I love that. That's wonderful. And we should practice that all the time.
Yes, I do it sporadically, but I'm being told to be much more conscious of using it as a way of exercising your create joy muscle,
Hmm.
and you get used to doing it. You get used to the fact that, well, I know that in so many days or whenever I feel like it, I can invest in myself.
Absolutely. Yes. And we should be doing that. We should be doing that all the time. Because if things are good with us and around us, it's good for everybody that comes near us.
Exactly. And that stuff radiates out. It reminds me of
Us.
all the people now who are into the tensor tools, the thing with the twisted copper and so forth.
Hmm.
And those cloud busters and all of that stuff that they're using now to affect the weather. That stuff is very, very effective.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's all about getting your tools together to do whatever
Hmm.
system you want to be involved in.
Right. Well, it's even as easy as the pay it forward
Yes,
system.
it's the
You
same
know,
thing.
Hmm. Yeah, and
It's
how and when did we first talked about that way back in what, February?
right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
Just
It's a
leaving
very
something
effective
simple.
system of using energy. It's a way of putting certain vibrations in motion.
Right, and money is energy. Money is much energy, and
It
it's
is.
not like it's not a bad energy. It's
No,
use it for good.
yeah, yeah. It's all about what you do with it.
Yeah.
You know? And to get back to the thing that I was going to talk about with systems, um, it's about being able to pick a system. It's like, how are you going to write your script?
Hmm.
What do you want in your script? Well, the thing is, you can't write a script about something you don't know anything about. So, do you know anything? If you don't, then you need to be about your business. Pick something that you believe in and then find out more about it because there's so much more to everything. If you want to try out a certain system you're involved in and you think it's important, then you really do need to put in the work to find out about it. It's like what we talk about with astrology. If you really want to get into it, then you need to actually study it because it's an extremely vast subject, you know? If you're in a particular religion, most people who are in households where there was a religious practice find that they have learned it, grew up, learned it, and just kept doing what they were doing. They didn't bother to study it, actually study it. They didn't dig into the history of it and who invented this and who invented. It's all about arm yourself with knowledge of what you're doing. So, if you're going to look for creating a certain dream that you want to have, then do you know anything practical about your dream? You know, it's great to say, "Oh, I want to be an actress," but have you ever tried to find out what does an actress need to know to be recognized, to be good, to be whatever?
Hmm.
Whatever there is to know about something you're aiming at, you need to get busy and start learning about it. Pick a philosophy, a system, a belief, whatever it is you have that you know is something you feel passionately about, and start to find out something about it. You need to be able to make moral choices, spiritual, philosophically enlightened choices, but you can't do that if you don't know anything. If you have not taken the time to find out anything about it, you don't know all the different levels of it, so you can't share anything either.
Hmm.
Or the few things you share would be misinformed, which we have enough of that out there.
Yes, we do.
You know, the main thing is to have fun being here.
Hmm.
It's supposed to be about joy. It's supposed whatever lessons we programmed in. It doesn't mean you're having the bad time just to have the bad time. You're having it so you can learn as much as possible about it and then cease to ever need it again.
Hmm.
You know, but it will repeat if you didn't learn anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
So it's about having fun here. It's about how to help create more success. And that's for you and for everybody else. It's like when you said you protect your car, but you're protecting everything around it, which means the other cars next to you and so forth.
Yep.
You know, so whatever vibe you're putting out there, it's radiating and spilling over onto everybody, you know? So we have stuff to do. We have to set goals.
Hmm.
But if you know nothing, you don't know what goals to set.
Right. And, we talk about doing these quantum jumps. Don't forget that there's a library in your village.
Exactly.
There you can go to the Hall of Records and visit what's there, and that's doing it quantum jumping wise.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's also the library down the street that you could visit to do research.
Yeah,
And
that
the
is
internet has made life a lot easier for us now than it was 50 years ago.
right. With Wikipedia and
Mhm.
Google and so forth, Bing and all the rest of those search engines,
Right.
it's phenomenal what you can touch, what you can access. When you think about 100 years ago, a person had to go through a lot of physical changes to
They did.
access information.
Hmm.
And even if you were willing to go through all that, you had to have a certain amount of money.
You did.
You
Yes.
had to be on a certain part of society to access it,
Yep.
So,
You remember when the salesman would come with the
talk about that.
encyclopedias? Yeah.
Oh,
I remember. Yeah.
the war between World Book and Encyclopedia Britannica.
Right, yep,
Those
exactly.
two books.
Sometimes you would get them so they would come like you'd get one a month and oh,
Yes,
what is in this one?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, and I used to just read them like you were reading a novel, go through page
Yeah.
after page after page.
Oh yeah, I couldn't wait till the next one came. Yeah. And now you've got everything at your fingertips. And do you do the research? Do you look up the stuff? I mean, I research more spiritual things now than what's physical. But lately I've been paying attention. Pay attention to the news, what's happening in the world. Where do I want to go with this? Do I want to be in some of those places that are at war? Absolutely not. But I want to be aware and I want to, just know what's happening. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I really completely agree. And I like the fact that I can sit back and choose what part of reality I want to explore.
Right. We don't want to dwell on those that, I mean, clearly I did not choose to come to the world to be in the Middle East war right now because I
Right,
was born in America.
right,
So I can notice that it's happening, I can care that it's happening, but I don't have to dwell on it,
right.
you know.
And that's something else to be grateful for. I
Absolutely it
see
is.
what they're going through and I feel badly for them, but I'm also feeling very grateful that that's not what I chose this time.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I'm thankful for them being willing to be a part of showing me those lessons without me being there.
Exactly. And that was their choices.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I'm grateful.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Well, I feel good about it. The whole thing about systems is to enable yourself to be able to mindfully choose a path plan. What path do you want? You've got to plan it and figure out what you want on it. But that's where you're moving from as you develop and evolve spiritually. And that's what we're all doing. So let's get some grunt work in and start finding out stuff that we need to know so we can be more efficient.
Yes. Oh yeah. Absolutely. And the Seth books are a great place to start. For
By
those
the
of you
way,
that haven't read them, for me, I read them. I read Nature of Personal Reality first.
yeah,
And most people will say, oh, you should read, the Seth material first, then Seth Speaks, then Nature of Personal Reality. I did it exactly backwards.
well,
Uh,
that was good. A lot of people have done it that way, and I think there's a lot of merit to that. If you've got to start somewhere and you're
start with
going to
yourself.
take some time, that particular one is spectacular.
It is. It
It
is.
really is quite unique among them all.
Hmm. Hmm. And the year that it was written, 1972, that particular year has a lot of meaning to me. It was a great time of development for me.
Me
I
too.
didn't know anything about Seth, or I didn't live in the area. I didn't know anything about it, but I can relate my growth as a human being at that time in that particular year. So it's just, I guess it was just happenstance that that's the book that I started with at a time, and I was reading about what was happening in my life that was so important. So it did mean a lot to me. And I'll tell you, the information that was in that particular book helped me to cure myself of things that had afflicted me for years and years and years. And it taught me how to change my beliefs in what I had food allergies, change my beliefs in what food would do to me. I
Mm-hmm.
had to I had to talk to my body about how my body could choose how to react and didn't have to react the way that it was. And it was a process. It's not anything that happened overnight. It took months actually. But you know what? I was sick for years.
Changing your reality. Yeah.
I changed my reality of how
Mhm.
my body reacted to things, but I chose the reality I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. It,
Mhm.
it was very important. And then the Seth Speaks is more global, universal. I mean, it's the big picture. And then Nature of Personal Reality takes those big pictures and then shows you how to do it for yourself. And
Yes.
and then Bert Goldman really gave us the tools, the metaphysical tools to accomplish those things. And it was life changing for me running across these different methods or systems of development.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I agree. Especially that years. That was the absolute pinnacle of me deciding to take a really um, intense spiritual path. That's it. That's when I decided, okay, this is what I want to know about. And I literally dove in head first.
Now, this was the early 70s for you too, right?
Yeah.
But you were physically doing it then. I was, I didn't even know about it then. But
Yeah.
that's when you met Bert Goldman and, right? I'm like, that blows me away. Like you met the man in person.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
And spoke to Jane Roberts
Yes.
and Rob.
Yeah.
They helped you. They assisted you. I, I
It's
have
something
such,
goes to happen and you don't know at the time that it's important.
mhm,
I
yeah.
had no idea that that was a big deal. Just some more of my weird research and some of the strange folks I know and was interested in. But it was just starting. And as it grew and grew and grew, it became a worldwide phenomenon. And you're shocked. Gosh, I'm glad I had enough sense to pay attention to this because it really is as important as I thought, even though everybody thought I was nuts. It's okay.
Well, it's important and
They're
it's
all reading the stuff that I was reading back then.
yep. Yes. I mean, if you think about it, I've only been studying the Seth material for 8 years now.
Oh gosh.
I
Yeah.
know, 8 years. The Seth material was brought to me probably 10 to 12 years ago. I was not ready to receive it. I instead delved into A Course in Miracles. And then some 4 years later, I was ready for the Seth material and I dove headfirst into it and I have been studying it ever since. And I don't know that I'll ever stop studying it. Every time I read these books, I've probably read Nature of Personal Reality 4 times now. And I always get something new out of it because I'm not the same person that's reading the book now that I was
Right, exactly.
7 years ago.
Oh gosh, that's such an important point.
It is, it is.
It's
And
a
and
very important point. Stuff you read when you were 20, when you get to my age, you don't have any idea about the mindset you had back then. It's nothing like your mindset now. So if you're reading the same thing, you get a very different meaning out of
yes. Yeah,
it.
it's not like reading a novel. You know,
No.
it not at all.
But even so, there are novels that I've reread now at this stage of life that I had no clue what they really meant back in my 20s.
Yeah.
So it works with novels as well. Just because you know the script, the way it was written, doesn't mean it's going to hit you the same.
Right. True. Very, very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just exciting to keep learning about it. And the other thing is when I was doing the Seth material, there were some things that were hard for me to grasp. And one of them was probable selves in different time frames. And what helped me with that one was reading Jane's novel of Oversoul 7.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Huge, huge helped me understand, and I think it helped her to understand what Seth was trying to say too.
It helps me with coordinate points and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yes,
I
yeah,
was having a lot of trouble with that.
yeah. And it's funny because because I live in the town, I was able to research all of the places that she talked about in that novel and
Right.
what they were. It was it's pretty exciting.
Yeah,
And, but I encourage everybody to get those three books I mentioned, and then the trilogy of Oversoul 7.
yeah. It's hard to know where to start. It
I just start.
just dive.
Just start, right? Even if you're not going to read the books per se, pull the book out, open it up, and whatever opens up to that page is probably what you need to read.
Well, I bought most of my books at least 3 years ago, and I would advise everyone if you don't have them, start buying them because they are getting scarce. You've
Oh,
got arguments about publishing, and then you've got the ones that have just not been republished. They're running out, and so they need to have a new run, and this and that. There are a lot of technical things involved in making the books available that are complicating things.
mhm.
So, if you really are serious about them,
Get them.
even though you're not going to read them for a while, start getting them in your home.
Hmm.
Because I have watched, and there are certain ones that are in great demand and certain others that are obscure.
I did not know that. I think I have all the Seth books, but I do not have all the Jane books.
Right,
Yeah. Hmm.
right. I don't have very many of the Jane books at all.
No.
All the Seth books, I was deep into that, but yeah,
Well, that's so when your family wants to know what you want for Christmas,
right.
you want the Seth books. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would
Right,
just
because
be
um
careful of who you loan them to as well.
so Rick Stack was what was the name of his company? He was producing a lot of the books, and that
Right.
has now been turned over to someone that I believe lives in Australia.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, good
changing.
advice.
It's really changing. Excuse
Well,
me.
get as many books as you can and hold on to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what you say? You
My
think we're ready
books
to?
are in my will.
What's that, Mickey?
My books are in my will. Okay.
All right.
Hmm.
Go to who you want them to go to.
Yeah. Because
Good.
see, I even have copies of the newsletter and stuff that was being printed. Something called Change. There was a Maud Caldwell back in the early days that was helping them publish their newsletter and stuff. I've still got all that stuff,
Mm,
and I know it would be an amazing trip to try and find any copies of that. We're
mhm,
talking from the early 1970s,
mhm.
and it was a small private thing among all the students, who were studying. But there weren't many people involved in that. That was when it was a very small endeavor.
Mm, okay. Now, Terry, I see Terry Woods is on in Facebook right now, and she said, "I've been listening to the Seth audiobooks recently," and that's a good resource too. Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
wonderful. Um, some of the readings you can find on YouTube, and there are book studies around the world. I don't know of any, offhand. I used to know a bunch of them, but yeah, I don't know them anymore. But you can Google that and look for book studies.
Right.
Yeah. Well, do you think we're getting ready to work on this journey?
I think so.
All right. Well, I'm going to suggest that everybody get in a relaxing position. Mickey, now. So I'm going to ask everyone to just relax. Let's just take a couple of deep breaths. This will help to unify the space that we're in. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth with a sigh. And again, in and out. Now, I'd like for you to do some relaxation, and I'm just going to mention some places, and as I do, just focus on them and then let all tension flow away from those areas. And let's start at our scalp, the top of our head, and relax. And your forehead, crinkle it up, and then just let it relax. Your eyes and your eyebrows, and your cheeks, your nose, your lips. Part your teeth slightly, releasing any energies being held in your jaw. Your neck. Relax the muscles in your neck, your shoulders. Relax your arms, your hands. You can even shake them out a little bit. Shake your fingers, releasing any energy there. Relax your back and your chest. Relax your belly. I just felt that I was holding so much tension in my belly. Just let it soften and let it relax. Let the energy flow down your legs, to your feet, and out to the earth. Relax your lower back and your hips. Letting all the tension flow down your legs. Relax those thighs and calves, ankles. Relax your feet, your toes. Just allow all the energy that you don't need anymore to just flow down the soles of your feet to the earth. Beautiful. Now let's take another deep breath in and out. And we are now totally and completely relaxed. Now I would like for you to imagine that you are totally wrapped in a beautiful bubble of white light. This bubble is your protection, and you can go anywhere with this bubble knowing that it's full of the white light. You can imagine it looking like a big oval, or you can imagine it looking like a big pyramid around you. But know that it is above your head, it is around you on all sides, and it goes below your feet, and it travels with you easily. This bubble protects you completely. And all beings that come near you are also protected by this beautiful energy that you have. It feels so good to be protected and to be in this beautiful white light. Now, we're going to use our 3 to 1 count, and we're going to travel down to our heart space where our meditation room is. So you can say these words to yourself, or you can say them out loud, but you can follow along with me. So we're going to take a deep breath in and visualize and say to yourself the number 3, 3, 3. And again, a deep breath in. 2, 2, 2. And again, a deep breath in. 1, 1. Beautiful. And with that 3 to 1 count, we are in a deeper, a better frame of mind. You can say to yourself, every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. Now I would like for you to visualize a set of stairs, and you're standing at the top, and there are 10 steps down to the bottom. And at the bottom of those steps is our heart space and our meditation room. So notice that we are going within, and this place is very protected and safe. Ready? I'm going to count from 10 to 1 to get down to that space. Standing at the top, holding on to the handrail. 10, 9, 8. Going deeper and deeper into our heart space. 7, 6. Deeper and deeper. 5, 4. Feeling better and more relaxed. Going deeper and deeper. 3, 2. Deeper and deeper. 1. We are now in our heart space, in our meditation room. And for those that have been with us, we know how we've decorated this room. And for those that are new to this practice, you can decorate it any way you like. The only specifics are there's a quantum door that you can decorate any way you like. The room has some kind of a fireplace or a candle, but there is some kind of warm light in this room. And there is also a doorway that goes to our lab or our healing room. Anything else you can put in there, a couch or a lounge, there can be windows or not. Decorate any way you see fit. But for right now, we're going to go in our lab. So open the door to your lab and go inside. And in this lab, you're going to see a big desk. Any desk that you want. It could be metal, it could be wood, it can be anything you choose it to be. On this desk are 2 screens, and they are covered with a beautiful velvet black covering separately. There is a big chair by your desk, and it has all kinds of buttons and things, and they're all there for your convenience. Now, also in this room is our healing table. There are refrigerators and filing cabinets. There's all kinds of bottles and everything that you can think of that you could need. So I'm going to ask that we go over to the healing table and lay on this table. Be very comfortable. You may have a pillow under your head. You may have a pillow under your knees. Just any way you see fit to get comfortable on your healing table. You can cover yourself in a blanket if you're cool, or you can have a nice sheet if it's more warm for you. Whatever you see fit. Now, be as comfortable as you can be, and I would like for you to invite your higher self, your oversoul, your guides, angels, spirits, beings of light, whoever helps you with your healing. Invite them in, invite them to assist you and to help you. And I'm going to give us quite a few minutes to be in this space, feeling the healing, right? Everything is being healed. So anything that you want to heal from, you want to think about how it feels that is gone, right? Don't think about what is wrong, but concentrate on how your body feels completely healed. And allow your helper beings to just scan your body and heal whatever they see fit. Because my higher self knows what I need and what I need right now. And I trust that it will be completed. So let's go ahead and spend some time in silence during our healing. Now, still laying on your table, take a deep breath in and out. And you can just look around and thank your guides for assisting us, assisting with our healing. They are always so happy and so willing to help us when we ask for their help. And you can sit up on the table a little bit. Take your time. If your table is high, just dangle your feet over the edge for a little bit. You can reach out. You can reach your refrigerator and have a little sip of water. Share your gratitude with your beings, your healing beings that were there helping you. And you can ask them questions. You can take the time and ask them, what they found, what did they do. But you are feeling wonderful all over. There's much joy and happiness, but calm and peaceful. You just feel good. And remember this feeling. And show gratitude for the wellness that you have, that you experience. Now you can come on over and sit in your chair at your desk, and you can take the velvet covers off your screens. And as soon as you do that, they just come to life. And on your screens, the one that's on the right-hand side is your manifesting screen, and the one on your left-hand side is your removal screen. So that's where you swipe left, anything that you want to take away. And the thought that I'd have for this today, since we're to be receiving what we have manifested in the past, I would like for you on the right-hand screen to visualize and see your manifestations come to life, whatever they are. If they are to live in peace, just see what that looks like on your screen on the right side. If you wanted to manifest a new life, a new job, just see that. See yourself in that new job. See yourself in that new car. See yourself with a group of friends having fun. See yourself exploring something that you wanted to explore. Whatever it is that you wanted, I want you to visualize it on the screen. See it come to life. Now, if you visualize something that's not exactly what you want, just swipe left, put it on the left-hand side, and it will just go away. When you have the exact scene that you want, and you feel that you have that in its perfection, just the way you want it to be, you dial it in on that screen, right? That's a specific vibration. Dial in that vibration, and that is you, and it will stick on that screen. So I want you to feel that you've received what you have been manifesting in the past, whatever that might be. And I'm going to give us a few minutes to do that. And then dial it in, save it, remember how you feel. Remember the things that you're hearing. Remember what you're seeing. And this is, you are making it so. Take your time. Begin. Now you may be having several things come to mind that you're manifesting on this screen. Know that each one of them are saved. What I would like for you to do now is open one of your drawers, actually the top middle drawer, and there's a notepad in there and a pencil or a pen, whatever you choose. And I would like for you to jot down on this notepad, on one of the pieces of paper or several, what you are grateful for. You have just dialed in your manifestation, and write down, just briefly, what you are grateful for that is now in your life. And if there's more than one thing, you can use more than one piece of paper. But I'd like for you to just jot them down and just hold on to those little pieces of paper, because we're going to use them in a little while. And I'm going to give you a minute or so to write down your gratitudes. For me, I'm grateful that my knee feels better. I'm grateful for the good friends that I have around me. I'm grateful for my family that watches over me. I'm grateful I have a home. Whatever your gratitudes are, put them down. It feels so good to put this down in black and white, or blue and white if you're using a pen, but to have this down in writing, and you have the little pieces of paper in your hand. Now it's time to put the velvet coverings back over your screens, and they immediately, the screens turn down. Okay. Now take whatever else you need from your lab, whatever is in there that you think you need to bring back with you, just grab it. And I'd like you to come back into the meditation room and stand in front of the quantum door. Now I'd like for you to set an intention. So when we go out through our quantum door, in the yard right in front of us, there's going to be a fire. It's evening time, and the moon is full, and it's a super moon, so it's super big. So it's very bright in this little courtyard. And around the fire, there are places to sit. There are chairs, there are logs, there's blankets. Choose wherever you want to sit. But we're going to all join together now. Set this intention that that is where we're going to go. All right? Now I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And on 3, the quantum door is going to open, and you're going to be able to cross over into the courtyard. Ready? 1, 2, the door is starting to open, and 3, the door is open. So now you can jump, walk, step over, fly out, however you want to get through this doorway, and gather around the fire. As we're all standing, gathering, pick yourself a seat, get yourself comfortable. You still have your papers with you. They're in your hand. So as everyone is gathering around the fire, you can gaze up at the moon, feeling the emotional energy pouring down. everyone is gathering, now I would like for each one of you to take the time. The moon is so bright that you can read your notes. I would like for you to read the notes, and with each one you finish, I would like for you to put it into the fire and send that gratitude to the universe. And then feeling the love coming back to you through the moonbeams. So I'm going to give us some time to meditate on our gratitude. Send them to the universe, and then feel the love come back to us from the moonbeams. So go ahead and you can start that now. And now all of our papers have been sent to the universe. The universe has received all our gratitude. And in return, we are being bathed in love. It feels so good to be here. And we can just visit with each other, and you can share with each other if that's what you choose to do. But just take a little bit of time and just sit in this love and this just beautiful circle of gratitude. And when you're ready, we can start making our way back into the quantum door, back into our meditation room. Okay? So I am going to count to 3, and on the count of 3, you will be back inside the meditation room. 1, 2, 3. Back in the meditation room. The door is closed. The quantum world is so amazing. It can be anything that we intend it to be. And I invite you to use this space throughout the next 2 weeks until we gather together again. It's been a beautiful journey. Now I'm going to count to 5. And when I get to 5, you are going to be wide awake, feeling wonderful all over as we have been healed. We have been showered and bathed in love, and it doesn't get much better than that. All right. 1, 2. You're starting to come up very nicely. 3. Starting to move around, maybe breathing a little deeper. 4 and 5. Eyes wide open, feeling wonderful all over. Now I would like for everybody to just, start moving around and, wiggle your fingers and toes and come back. I am going to, beautiful. You can keep that healing bubble, that protective bubble around you as much as you need it to be. I mean, I do this every morning. I wrap myself in this bubble. How you doing, Mickey?
I'm subdued, but I'm okay.
Good, 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 good. I want everybody to know how much, utilizing that space that we were in, you can do that every day. You can intend to visit, like I said, the libraries. You can visit the Akashic Records. You can visit your angels, your spirit guides, your past loved ones. Set your intentions however you want them to be. Terry said thank you. Thank you, Terry, for being here with a pretty powder blue heart. Nice. So definitely have a little bit of water. Walk around a little bit. Get yourself grounded. That was a very floaty, deep place to be.
Yeah, very comfortable. Warm and fuzzy.
It's funny when we show gratitude for the things that we have, it makes us feel good, right? And then, oh my gosh, the love that was coming from the moon, like we talk about the moon as being very emotional and it heightens. I could just feel such love and peace coming from each ray of that moon.
Well, another moon word is nurturing.
Nurturing, lovely. Nice.
And you think that it rules the house of the family. So yeah, nurturing is all about family stuff.
Beautiful. Love that. Well, I'm so glad you all came to join us. And, I hope that for the rest of this, so this moon, so yesterday, at I think it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern time, was the height of the moon. But it's, another 3 days out, so you can put your crystals outside and cleanse them. But when you see the moon, just close your eyes and feel that love and nurturing coming to you. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to take a nap.
Right, now that's a good idea, but I'm going to be very English and have a cup of tea first.
So don't call it selfish. We're going to show self-love.
Yeah.
Do some nice things for yourself in the next 2 weeks. Like Mickey said, whatever that might be. Maybe go to the movies.
Yeah.
Just treat yourself.
we talked about paying it forward and doing little things for others and leaving something behind when you're in a room, and you leave it behind. But that's something where you're doing it for other people. This is where you're getting a gift for you.
Yes, give yourself a gift,
Okay.
whatever that might be. A fancy piece of chocolate or, a fancy drink. Take yourself out to dinner.
Yes, whatever.
Or better yet, have dinner called in.
It's a good one.
Absolutely. Whatever is going to make you feel um, like the important person that you really are.
Yes.
All right. Well, Mickey, I thank you so much for being with me, and I thank everybody that's been on. Terry said thank you. Um,
Terry and everybody.
yeah, and we will see you back here in about 2 weeks, right, for the new moon. And that new moon is going to be in Virgo, right? Yeah.
Yes, it will be.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I think, right. I think we change. We're in Leo until
So
the
it'll be
two more
Virgo.
days, and then we're in Virgo.
Mm.
I'm learning. And Mickey wasn't kidding when she said it's a language and it takes time. Oh my gosh, does it ever? I've been
Yeah,
studying it for what, about a year now, and I'm
yeah,
just, I'm just getting there.
yeah. That is so true.
Thank you, everybody.
I love you, everyone, and we will see you soon.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.